Okay.
You recording too?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
You said another,
Another rights issue is a woman's choice.
it's-
To woman's choice, abortion, another rights issue. Uh, uh, Citizenship is a rights issue. This one tickles me all the time when the government tells us, at one time they were telling us there were 18 million Spanish-speaking illegal aliens. I even had problems with calling a human being an alien, but 18 million of them, well, my response to that was, well, if it's 18 million of them, you must have counted them. You know where they are, how they got here. So immigration, that's another, citizenship, immigration, that's another rights issue. But let me hear her say, in my opinion, yes, there are things wrong with America, but I still think it's far more right with it than it is wrong.
or given that, you also in that statement something say, hey, let's work on things. We can make it better just by working because I guess what you've said in this amount of time is that we worked on it, we made things better because it's definitely changed black folks
Oh,
in the
absolutely.
past 50 years. So that says that you can do things.
See, you mentioned movement. There are some inequities in American culture, namely those issues that I just outlined, that merit uh, uh, what I want to say, a concerted effort to eliminate the inequities. If there's going to be a movement, we don't need new leaders, we need new leadership.
Explain that because I had a minister talk to me. Matter of fact, gave me a letter the other day, and that's one of his concerns is about leadership. So could you explain it? Because if nothing else, I know that brother would like to hear this answer.
Well, what I do for a living, I teach. It's called to preach, which to me I was called to serve. The leadership style that Dr. King uh, employed was that of a servant leader. He had no problem with getting on the front line. We need a leadership consciousness that will demonstrate servanthood. See, a lot of people don't want to serve, they want to be served. You're smiling, I must have said something.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's interesting because the conversation we had was about Mark 10 when Jesus was telling folks, I don't need any that very thing when he was saying, hey, if you want to follow me, then you got to be willing to serve people, not be served.
Yeah, well, he that will be greatest among you, let him be your servant. That's what he taught. Um, that we need to hear a different messaging from the church. I'm not afraid to say it. We need to hear different messaging from the church.
Speak on that. Go ahead, speak on
Well, Jesus walked in some of these churches today. Announce I'm Jesus. Can I say something? Well, wait a minute. We got to check with the bishop, but I'm Jesus. we already got the order of service made out. You know, we might let you say something at the end, but I'm Jesus. So, um, we need to hear, we need to eliminate the messaging of going to God to get more stuff. That type of messaging is not going to help us progress as a culture. We need to hear more of when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me water to drink. When I was in prison, you came to see me. We need to hear more messaging about loving your enemies, praying for them who despitefully use you. And if we hear more of the message of Christ, we will see a more visible presence of service, in my opinion.
That was kind of leading to what, you know, what my next question is, and I'm not going to say church. Let me change this. What is the role of the body of Christ? Let me make that distinction in dealing with these issues.
Again, since you see it, the body of Christ, which I'm not in disagreement with, the role of the body of Christ is to, there's a whole lot I'm going to try to find one catch-all. The role of the body of Christ ought to be focused on helping people see the benefit of establishing the kingdom of heaven on earth.
And it follows in you saying the kingdom, if it's the kingdom as constructed by Christ and not the kingdom as constructed by people who use the message for gain, then we wouldn't be dealing with any of these issues.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
See, Jesus taught. They asked him, well, where is the kingdom? In you. Dr. King, in his brilliance, took the message of Christ, put it in a philosophical package. See, if he had come purely from a Christocentric perspective, he would have alienated other faiths. See, of course you're going to do some editing, but I may as well beat my drum a minute. See, somewhere we read one Lord, one faith, one baptism. Through internet technology, people can go online, do a Google on how many denominations there are. One site suggested it's 20,000. 20,000 denominations in America. We missed the message of Christ. That if we listen to Dr. King, Jesus talked about the kingdom. Dr. King talked about the beloved community. Really, it's a consciousness where people learn how to peacefully coexist beyond status, class, race. That we all the people. We all the people. The last frontier that he was getting ready, well, the frontier that he would have been taking on next was the distribution of the wealth. But he had the ability to draw people into what we call the movement. Draw people in. He drew people. And the result is history.